Here I am talking to the wonderful, brave rival. How are you all?
Very good. Very well.
Good. So you're talking to us from your rehearsal studio in Portsmouth at the moment, or Portsmouth Way, anyway.
North of Portsmouth.
Yeah, it's in near Farnham.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Almost into Surrey.
Church.
Excellent. So, just for the uninitiated, those who haven't read your press release, you guys have been together for just over, well, coming up to 2.5 years now, haven't you? I think it was summer 2019 you got together.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you guys actually form and meet each other?
Well, we initially started as a three. Three girls, me, Donna and Chloe, and Donna was on guitar and sometimes piano as well.
Yeah.
Even though drums is your like number one, but
Yeah.
we started writing together and we realized it was a good partnership, so we thought, oh, let's do a bit of an acoustic thing together.
Yeah.
Called ourselves Patchwork Story. La, la, la.
Very quaint back in that.
Very quaint.
In the day. Yeah.
And we had a good thing going, and we were like, oh, these songs sound like maybe they could have a bit of dirt behind them.
Bit of them.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see what would happen if we created a band. And Donna was like, yes, get back on the drums. And we were like, yeah, I think this has got a bit more to it. So we decided to form a bigger outfit and got in some Portsmouth players at the time.
Yeah.
For about a year. No, maybe just less than a year.
Yeah.
Very short.
It's a short, about a year and a bit.
Was it a year and a bit?
Yeah.
We did a few gigs.
While I watched on very jealously.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out.
Didn't quite work out with those particular players, so we kind of rethought how we were going to do it. And in 2019, in the summer, we were like, okay, well, we'll give him a chance, see what he does.
Thing is, we had this gig booked at Victorious, and we had no guitar player. We're like, what are we going to do? So yeah, we wrote that in, and he hasn't left.
No.
Yeah, they tried to get rid of me, but
Yeah. I was going to say,
that's what really happened.
was that there with a voodoo doll sticking pins in whoever, an effigy of the latest, the previous guitarist or something?
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that one.
And so yeah, we did that gig and everything was going great. And then we were supposed to go in the studio the next year, so we'd already had lots of songs under our belt. And then the whole world ended. So
I was going to say, Victorious is quite a big deal, isn't it? Because it's from what I know, it's a huge festival. I've not been down to it myself. I haven't been down to Hampshire for quite a while, but it's a big deal. So to get on that bill was really good.
It was
as I say,
it was
so
it was uncomfortable.
if you actually ever see footage or photos of my first gig with Brave Rival at Victorious,
I'm topless.
I'm not wearing a shirt, and that wasn't planned. It was because I walked from the entrance to the stage, and in that short distance, the straps of my guitar case had sweated perfect lines down my t-shirt. I can't go on stage like this. So yeah, I'm not just a poser.
Yeah, you didn't get mugged in Southsea or something.
So sorry, missed that. What was that?
I was going to say you didn't get mugged in Southsea or something.
No, that was afterwards.
You mentioned, obviously, then with the pandemic, the world just suddenly shut down. It must have been really quite frustrating, but how did you go about the songwriting and recording of the album with all that going on?
We actually had what we thought was the album complete in terms of deciding what songs were going to be on it.
Weird to think that now.
Yeah. So we decided the track order, everything, and we hadn't actually recorded anything at this point. But then during the pandemic, we were writing like sending each other ideas and just building the songs up using Logic.
Yeah.
We'd have regular Zoom calls like this, and
Thank God for computers.
work on songs together, and then eventually, when the first sort of lockdown started subsiding a bit, you could meet outdoors in a group of 6.
Yeah.
And luckily we don't have more than 6, 5 members.
Yeah.
So we could meet up. We met up outside this building on a hot sunny day and just set up outside on the farm here and just played outside and carried on like that. And
First time we were able to do that in months.
yeah, literally months.
All these ideas flying around.
Yeah.
Like, let's try and put it together. It worked out quite well.
I think I'm right in saying that the original track listing for the album was 10 songs long.
Yeah.
The actual album as it is 12 songs. I think only 3 or 4 are from that original 10.
Yeah.
So the songs that we thought were the best we could come up with then got replaced as we felt we were writing bigger and better tunes. It was we didn't expect it. It was a positive spin on what was quite a negative time. It was at least nice that we were able to come up with things that we thought were actually we're making the best of the situation. We're actually doing better things. So the album's gonna be better as a result of this extra time we've got.
Yeah.
As awful as it was at the same time.
Yeah, I guess, whilst you're having that time, new ideas are developing, and maybe you finesse what you've already got and something else comes along that replaces that, and so sorting through that
It's quite interesting.
the process.
Creatively, we had quite a lot going on. There was more to, you always write from a place of, well, not always, but majority of the time you write from experiences, you write from emotion and things like that, and there was a lot going on at that time.
The title track being culmination of that, because I wrote a very somber, I don't know how you describe it, soft picking guitar thing. I think
Part.
No, thing. We're going with thing. This is a soft guitar thing. That I don't know. I think I was feeling the lockdown a bit that day because it was all going stir crazy, and I recorded that, put it in our Google Drive that we were using, and then Chloe had an experience on one of her hour allocated walks that we were allowed to have.
God, it feels like such a long time
It's
ago
weird,
now,
isn't
isn't it?
Different lifestyle, isn't it?
Like that, so it was based on a story which I'll let her tell another time. That was about her experience during the pandemic. So the whole song and what ended up being the title track of the album came from what we were feeling at that time. So
Very poignant, huh?
yeah, it ended up, the album isn't just different songs, the whole tone of the album is different because of the way we wrote it in the end.
Yeah. Okay. So you touched on it a little bit there, Lindsay. It seems with the themes of the album thematically, was it quite autobiographical lyrically, or was it some of it partly autobiographical? I'm trying to help you get out of this if there is.
What's your name again?
The thing is,
That's what I'm not straight away.
right, okay, here's the thing to
You
know.
choose what you write about, Lindsay.
Here's the thing to think about. So Chloe and I write very differently in actual fact. So Chloe will write from emotion, experience. I like to tell stories in my writing, not necessarily true stories.
They usually are.
So not everything you hear in a song is coming from a place of experience. Some of them are. Most of them
A confessional.
Confessional. Like there's a song called Secrets.
Yeah.
That's very that's quite a poignant song for me. That comes from a very dark place where I was in a relationship that just didn't end well. But then you've got a song like What's Your Name Again, which is basically about a one night stand, waking up not knowing who the hell it is.
Which she's definitely never done.
That's just a story. La 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 la. Story.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It's up to you, really. You get to decide what you think is.
Yeah. I think it's probably best not to know sometimes, isn't it? Because you can put your own spin on things, and you can put your own self into those places. And you know, they get listening to the album, there is themes that you know, are universal, you know, such as, you know, the title track, but also there's those more deeply ones that, you know, we can look back, as you say, you know, just, you know, with the track you mentioned, where you look back and think, yeah, I did that, but I'm trying to forget that I actually did that.
Yeah. Here's a permanent reminder.
Yeah. And any song is open to interpretation, really. Any song you hear on the radio, you might think it's about one thing, turns out it's about a completely different thing. I didn't know that Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder was about his kid. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Probably because I don't listen to the words. But, you know, it's open to interpretation. It could be about anything you want it to be about.
Yeah.
That's nice not to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So as well as the key sort of 5 of you, and as we've said, you know, sort of Chloe, having recently given birth, isn't there at the moment. You had Johnny Henderson doing a lot of keys on the album, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I think his playing, for me, sound quite reminiscent of John Lord at times. You know, that sound he gets.
Yeah,
The Lord.
We love the Lord.
Yeah, in actual fact, we know Johnny.
Yeah, he's like
as a family friend.
through you, really. Yeah.
Which is weird because when I first met him through my partner, I didn't know he was on the scene at all. Just thought he was my partner's brother-in-law. And then they said, "Oh yeah, he plays in bands." And I was like, "Oh cool, what kind of stuff does he do?" Oh, he plays with, you know, all these bands, and Els Bailey, who we were talking to at the time, I was like, "Hang on a minute, maybe we need to look into this guy." Turns out he's like big on the scene and does all this stuff, and he very kindly offered to do some work on the album. We're hoping one day he's going to play with us live, but
that'd be awesome.
we're working on it.
I was going to say, because obviously, as well as him, you've got some more keys. Obviously, you've got the piano, and you've got the choir as well, haven't you? Which also, you know, fills out the sound.
Yes.
It was a dream come true.
That was like the wish list before we even sat down and started. Was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a choir?
Yeah.
And then like the more.
How do we do this?
Yeah, like how do we do this? How, like we sort of like started figuring out like we need to obviously get the right people in. So then you guys went off and found all your singing mates.
Well, I don't know how much of Portsmouth you know, but there's a really, really awesome music scene down there. Portsmouth, South Sea, you know, area. I'm not sure too much about the Southampton way because we don't talk to them. Not really. But there's a really, really cool music scene, and we're all, you know, all kind of feel like we're in it together sometimes, especially when there's local festivals and local gigs and things like that.
Yeah.
So we know quite a few incredible artists and singers, and luckily they wanted to be involved because, you know, everybody's very supportive of each other, and we were lucky to get, was it 5, 6 people in the end?
6 plus you employed.
6, so 8 people in the choir in St Mary's Church.
Yeah.
Which
in
sounded
Portsmouth.
amazing.
Which was Tarrant's idea, wasn't it? To use the church?
Can't remember actually.
I think we originally we were just trying to find a hall, and then Chloe, her brother.
Her brother's an organist at the church. Yeah.
So just happened to be, work at a massive church, and we can use it for a couple of hours or whatever it was. We had to get it all done within a quick time frame, but
the best natural reverb.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was very spiritual. It was really cool. Some of the songs that they were written, I don't know, 4 years ago or something, especially for me personally, long time coming. Was a song that I just this whole time we've been playing it live, just hear this bigger sound, lots of voices.
Yeah, that's one of the few that was on the original album track listing. And I remember from when we were first talking about doing the album, Lindsay was going on about wanting a choir on that, and that is an idea that's stuck ever since. I think we then were thinking, well, we're doing the choir for the long time coming. Where else would a choir really add? And there was other places that
a couple of other bits.
But that's probably the main one. And so actually, no,
Break Me, I think it's the main
ended
one.
up. It wasn't going to be, but I suppose it probably has. Yeah, there's another song on the album which is another sort of epic ballad that the choir ends up featuring, yeah, probably more than.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's I think the showcase for them.
That wasn't
really.
planned, was it? It was a long
No.
time coming. Why?
Yeah.
Well, me and Chloe sat down in her studio, her home studio, and we were making up the arrangement
Figured
for a
out all
long
the
time
parts and all the things.
Yeah, so it's-
and we thought, could we work this on something else? So we had a little listen to Break Me and came up with an arrangement for that and put it to the guys, and it just seemed to work, didn't it? So
Oh, definitely.
yeah. Hopefully one day we'll have the choir live too. That would be.
Well-
I mean,
Yeah. That was what I was going to say. When you're inevitably headlining at the Royal Albert Hall at some point, in the not too distant future, you can have the full, huge orchestra. But I think the choir will just be,
well, I think I've got the London Philharmonic on hold for me.
Yeah.
that's the
no, I
dream.
it might have, you can see this as a prediction because a few years, well, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I've got some friends who you may or may not have heard of called the Blackheart Orchestra. They're a duo. And they did 2 tours with Hawkwind. And on the last tour, their last date of the tour, and I always said this to them, I said, you should be playing the Royal Albert Hall. Last date of the last tour with Hawkwind, they played the Royal Albert Hall. So, I've spoken it into your lives as well now. So, just got to believe it's going to happen. So,
Gonna happen.
That'd be a dream.
Yeah.
No, but that's not your dream venue, is it? What's your dream venue?
Oh, Wembley Stadium.
Wembley Stadium.
That's the dream venue. What's
Yeah.
yours?
Mine's probably O2, just because I've seen so many of my
O2.
favourite bands there. But honestly, I'm not gonna be like, okay, any of those venues. I'm okay with any of them.
Me too.
My dream venue is Red Rocks. So put that power
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
okay. I'm making a note of these, so we're not going to just stop, when you get to Pompey Guildhall,
Yeah.
you're going to move on from there.
Did we?
That was
Yeah.
about for me.
That was beforehand. Beforehand, we did Pompey Guildhall at a beer festival.
So we've technically done it already.
Very different sound.
Bit of a different.
Very different sound. Yeah.
This again, something we touched on a little while ago. There seems to be so many great bands coming from the Hampshire area at the moment. So it's a really positive, thriving scene down there. By the sounds of things, it's going to be the new, the Hamble Delta, and
Yeah, we
Down
recently
there.
did a festival. That was
amazing.
really fun time actually. There was so many bands. And that's the other thing. Like they're bringing in many bands from like far away. It's all sort of South Coast sort of bands.
Yeah. Is that an unsigned
Unsigned bands. Yeah.
only? Yeah. It's like a bit of a fringe. If you don't know what Icebreaker is, it's almost like a bit of a fringe festival.
Yeah.
So all the pubs and there's little venues that host different things throughout the day.
Every band that we saw was awesome.
There's some
Right.
amazing talent going on. There's a lot of talent coming out of the UK, but yes, especially from what we know down south, it's really cool. It's cool to be part of it, but it's cool to take our sound and like get it out there to the wider world. That's the plan.
yeah, because there seems to be quite a little bit of a West Coast. That's the sort of thing you should be aiming for, I guess. That's the ideal.
That was actually, I think, kind of also started the discussion on the choir and a bit. I seem to remember it saying, remember that? Hey, wouldn't that be cool, sort of thing?
Yeah, we've seen
That's
that.
definitely been mentioned a few times.
Yeah.
I've watched that YouTube clip a lot.
Like a little bit where Robert Brown Plant with the tear in his eye.
Yeah. Oh God.
The most affecting thing for me with that is Jason Bonham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The way, when he comes on stage and at the end, but there's a bit near the end of the song where he knows, he puts his head down and then he looks up just briefly before he goes into the very last bit. And, you know, it's like, you know, he's thinking about his dad at that point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But, you know, we digress. Yeah, there seems that, you know, I don't know what it is about, you know, that whole thing down in Hampshire, but it seems to be a lot of, you know, sort of folky Americana, West Coasty sort of, you know, that great stuff that's coming out. Maybe it's something in the water, but you know, I mentioned Fleetwood Mac in my review of the single, Guilty Love. Have you been pleased with the reception that that's received?
Blown away.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so much.
Every review's been like a, you know, positive one. So
Yeah.
not one bad review. So I was
That's right.
like, sure someone will write one day.
Yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah, well, it seems to be a very catchy earworm kind of tune. You said that you've been singing it every day.
Yes, yeah. I'm actually thinking of suing you because, you know, it's just stuck in my head. So
Very annoying, isn't it? You can't get out.
We're not going to apologise.
No,
no.
you can try and sue us. We haven't got any money. So.
And the video must have been quite fun to make as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Lindsay especially enjoyed that day.
It was such a good day, wasn't it?
She was in bed with the actors, literally in bed with the actors.
She didn't
in
need to
the
be.
second scene, and it was not planned. She just got in bed.
Just, yeah.
There are photos. We have
Yeah.
proof.
Like, come on, guys, let's all do this together.
You know what's funny? I think about the fact that literally the night, was it the night before or 2 days
2
before,
days before.
the original actors we had booked for the video cancelled because they had COVID, was it?
No.
No, drunken accident.
Drunken accident, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone fell over or something.
They fell
They
over.
did a piggyback thing. Both stacked it, and I think one of them
Messed up their
was
face.
cut all down his forehead and nose.
Yeah.
I think she had little cuts all under her chin.
Yeah,
They
so,
tried to hide it, but
It
didn't
was
like
quite bad.
yeah, so we were like, well, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
We don't have any actors.
It was all booked, and we had no actors.
I don't even know where they came from, these guys that we got.
They came through Chloe's friends.
Friends of friends.
Friends of
Friends of friends.
And luckily they were free.
Yeah.
And they were excellent,
And
weren't
sexy.
they? They were very
Yeah.
sexy and very, very talented and very professional. We couldn't have asked for any more. They were great.
Yeah.
So considering they'd never met us, we never met them.
Yeah.
And in the second
just-
scene, they were in their underwear.
They were in their underwear most of the day, doing all this stuff that we were asking them to do. And
And that wasn't even to do with the video.
yeah, we enjoyed that day. It was very good.
It was a very fun day.
Yeah, and Tina, who was the videographer, was just an incredible energy as well. She just such a way with getting what she wanted out of us and just staying so positive.
We need to give a shout out to other Billy as well, not this Billy, the other Billy.
The other
He-
Billy.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't get mentioned enough, but he came along completely of his own volition to take some photos just because he asked us if he could, and he ended up being roped into being quite crucial
Yeah.
to the video. He ended up doing a lot with
Lighting and stuff, yeah.
He doesn't get enough credit for that because he was
Yeah.
Yeah, his handle is William Mark Design. If you want to check out who he is.
talented
And
dude.
It's Mark Gaisley and Olivia Cheeseborough and Martina Madej. I never know how to say it. I'm so sorry, Martina. Martina Madej. That's the one.
They're all awesome.
Who, if you have our live album, you'll hear a song called Martina, which is about her.
Always forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Good bit of advertising there. So
Yeah.
There you go.
always give your friends a plug. Yeah, so it's a huge, listen to the album, you know, it's such a great album. I've skimmed through it at the moment because I'm going to do a proper review of it, and when I review, I just really want to get immersed in it, but I just wanted to have a listen to it before I spoke to you guys. But there's some, you know, so many different themes in there, and it sounds great. Really does sound great. Was it, or has it turned out the way that you'd hoped, listening to the completed thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, way beyond what
Yeah. It's like we were expecting like here. It's like
Yeah.
That was the genius of
Yeah.
our wizard producer, Tarrant Shepherd. We literally met with him once before the album was supposed to start, and then didn't see him for a year and a half, 2 years because of lockdown. And then he had COVID when we were trying to do the guide tracks, and he was controlling the studio remotely from isolation. And it was all very weird. I mean, I think all of us were a little bit going, what's this going to sound like at the end? And he is a genius. Like all the things that we loved about it, he took and showed us how to convert them into a recording better than we would ever have known to. So he was magical. I refer to him as a wizard most days, I think.
Worth noting as well, it's his first solo project on his own, because he's quite a young guy. He's only, what, your age, I think?
27, I want to say.
Yeah, about that. And yeah, he's basically cut his teeth learning from the best, like in terms of a guy called Clint Murphy and Greg Haver. Both Greg's a Brit Award winning producer, and Clint's won awards as well, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, so he's learned from them, and he's supplied all of his knowledge to us.
I don't think I actually knew when we were tracking it that it was his first solo record like that. And looking back, I don't understand how it was his first, because he was so on top of every aspect. The hours he was pulling during the days, he was literally sleeping on the studio floor
down here.
Right.
Not like where the drum kit is now, at the mattress, he slept there, was working an hour or so before we showed up each day, and carried on after we left, editing and things.
We worked him like a dog.
He said, stop, take some time off, but he wouldn't. He just carried on pushing. But he never seemed to get, his ears were never tired, he was never worn out, he was never moody, he was never not on it. He was constantly, consistently brilliant.
Do you know why? Because of his special tea.
No.
We're not talking on special tea. He has a special tea which I lived on for the Guitar Week, and I'm still living on now. Genius.
Are you?
And absolutely love that stuff. It's great.
Biscuit, please.
We have gone quite considerably off topic.
Sorry.
Good tea.
And jam on tea.
That was not good.
That wasn't good.
That wasn't good.
Yeah. But, who knows? With this start, it isn't. The production is great on it, but he might be the next Mutt Langer or someone, or or George Martin. So cut his teeth on you guys, and it'll be a classic debut from him and a classic debut from yourselves.
We're really proud of it, and we've had some great reviews. We've only had a few from the album so far, since it's not been out.
No official reviews.
No official reviews,
but
just comments,
feedback, I guess.
and they've all been really positive about how actually it the production and it sounds, and he's over the moon with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's really pleased. He's really proud.
So will you be approaching him for album number 2?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we were saying that, but we were discussing that while recording album 1.
Yeah. No, it will happen.
So I think both parties would be interested in that possibility.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, but we couldn't be more pleased.
I can't see it not, but yeah.
There isn't anything where I'm like, yeah, it was good, but there isn't any of that. It was great.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't see why we wouldn't want to work with him again.
No.
Yeah. Have you already started writing new songs? I guess the whole gestation period of the album. Are they sort of pouring out at you at the moment?
Instantly got millions of songs flying around. It's not just like what's next. It's just thousands of ideas. We've got a little, like you said earlier, Google Drive folder. I don't know what it looks like. It looks like this.
Yeah.
Lots of different ones of these.
On the interweb.
Yeah.
On the internet.
And it's all labelled Ed's ideas. Riff-tastic.
Hang on, it's not all labelled Ed's ideas.
These vocal ideas. And there's just stuff flying about everywhere, and then we'll pick it up one day and we'll have a jam. We're going to try out a couple tonight.
Yeah.
We finished up one a couple of weeks ago. We've almost finished one last week. I'm hoping we're going to jam.
We'll jam later. Yeah.
It is a bit different writing without Chloe.
Yeah.
I feel like none of the songs are quite finished until they've
won't
written
be.
up by Chloe as well.
Yeah.
Chloe needs to have done her bit on them because they're not quite us until she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say with the mix of Chloe's vocals and yours, Lindsay, is it difficult at the moment to write it without her being there? Because how do you two work out the vocal lines between you?
Well, it depends who gets there first, honestly.
So you at the moment, because she's looking after newborn, it's going to be when she comes back to you guys, it's going to be right. Okay, yeah, Chloe, we've got one chorus for you in these 15 songs. I'm doing the rest as lead.
Now Lindsay and the Brave Rivals.
No, you'll be like, I've got this idea. We both, maybe it would suit you better to sing this bit.
Yeah,
you know what works. So
and
both of you.
We've been. I've been around hers in her home studio, and we looked at the song that you wrote. I can't remember what it's called now.
I remember. I'm just not going to tell you.
Oh, great!
She's quite funny.
It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there.
Are we announcing the names?
Okay, well, there's a song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say it. But there's a nice song, and I was like, oh, I've got this idea, and I showed it to Chloe, and she was like, oh yeah, and then she was like, well, how about that part? And so we're definitely still collaborating vocally.
Yeah.
Even if it's not meeting up in person, might just put something in.
And also, I've noticed when we do a writing session that Chloe's not there for, you'll actually say, or get to a section, you'll stop singing, and you'll say, I've left that bit because I know Chloe will have an idea for that, but I don't.
Yeah.
You'll know what Chloe can put forward that you can't. There's gaps with Chloe's bits.
And we write very differently as well. She has a really unique way of singing, timing wise. Whereas I'm very 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the notes go.
Way of writing timing wise.
Yeah,
it's a funny way of saying she won't stay in one time.
No, I don't think like that. No, I can't do that. I'm very. I hear it quite black and white. So you can you can probably tell who's written what. I mean, we both write together, but like the bones of something will probably be one person has done the majority, and the other person, if
you both wrote a thing to one bit, they would turn out totally different.
Totally different. Totally different.
Yeah. What you're saying is you're the musician, or you're the musically talented one. Chloe's just a bit of a chancer.
Quote that.
Totally the opposite.
Can we get you saying that?
I can say that. Not me.
No, I would never say that, especially as I'm sure Chloe will watch this at some point. So
she'll be like, guys, you're not doing interviews without me anymore.
There is that great mix between you all, not just with the vocals, but all you guys working together. And I think the relationship you have as band members is there's a real friendship as well. Looking at the crowdfunder video you were doing for getting money together for the album, everyone doing their own little part, and people in the you're all in the background, weren't you, there at the time, taking the mickey, sort of putting in your own little thoughts and words.
Well, we were all, before Brave Rival was ever a thing, we were friends outside music, but also we've all done various musical projects with some subset of us five in the past, and we all hang out as friends. So before the band was even a concept, we were a tight-knit group anyway. So I think that made it was inevitable that there was going to be some kind of heckling and stuff going on. Band.
Yeah. That's great. It is good to see, and long may it continue. So obviously you got the album coming out in May.
The 6th.
But also you got some dates. You're doing some touring between now and then. So tell us a little bit about that.
For the official tour.
Yeah. So we got Leeds on the 27th this month. March, we're not doing any gigging in March. But then April 5th is when Chloe is returning to the stage, and we're playing the 100 Club in London. So that's basically where we're sort of kicking off things there.
Being back reunited.
Yeah, and then like we're just going all over the place really. Like, we're in Lincoln the Friday after that. We're supporting Crow Black Chicken. I don't know if you've heard of them. And then through May and June we're doing some blues festivals up in Lincoln and Wolverhampton. Hook, Tring.
Hook's going to be the
South
special
Sea.
one.
Hook's going to be very special.
Hook is probably going to be the one which I think if you do want to see us attempt something special.
Yeah, there might be some special plans.
There might be some guests, you know.
Yeah.
Don't mean any stunts or anything.
No stunts.
Yeah.
No, there will be a few more than 5 of us on stage.
Yeah.
All our own Stairway to Heaven moment. I don't know.
Oh.
Could be something.
Yeah. Dead wielding a chainsaw or something.
Juggling.
Yeah.
We're getting all over the place. Tuesday Night Music Club.
Blues Bar and Tring.
Blues Bar and Tring.
Yeah. So it's quite an extensive.
Portsmouth.
Yeah, we've got a local one, Bullfrog Blues Club, which I find really hard to say.
Bullfrog Blues Club.
Blues Club. Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Bullfrog Blues Club.
Yeah.
And we're at the Beaverwood, and we've got Uckfield Festival,
Southsea.
and we're down in Southsea for the Breakthrough
Night.
Night, which is,
Yeah.
if anyone's seen us recently, we've had the incredible Amber Tremaine stepping in to help us with some shows while Chloe's been off, and she was part of our Braving Choir, and she's also an amazing artist down in Portsmouth, so she's putting on her own nights at the Jolly Sailor in Southsea, just supporting original acts, and we're part of that.
The thing I saw a lot on, might have been through your website, there was a snatch of Guilty Love live, but it wasn't Chloe, was it? It was from earlier on this year, wasn't it? So it was Amber.
Yeah,
it's Amber,
Yeah, she's amazing. We're so thankful to her for stepping in to help.
Stepping in, yeah. Obviously, Chloe is irreplaceable, but you know, it's great to have that person you can rely on to carry on.
Yeah, we're really thankful to her, and she's loved it as well. She's loved being part of the experience, so it's worked all round.
Excellent. Well, let's say, you know, the future is very bright. What are the end aims? You know, what are the, you know, we've mentioned about venues you want to play, but what really is the main aim for Brave Rival, would you say?
I think we all have other like things going, like some of us work day jobs, some of us don't.
Yeah. And
I think the real like dream would be for us to make this all of our full-time.
If we can make this a living
out
career,
of it. A proper career playing,
I think that's what everybody wants, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everyone
just want to do what you know, your passion,
But yeah, I mean, but dreaming real big, touring the world, Europe, America, Australia, Japan, Brazil.
Listing everywhere in the world now.
Yeah,
that's the big aim. That's
the big aim.
Yeah, I think I agree with Billy that the aim that I think we definitely want to reach is that we're
self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining. This will be our entire life rather than having to kind of juggle things outside of it. But then, anything beyond that, we're not going to say no.
And to meet and to tour with amazing other artists as well. One of the biggest things, I don't know about you guys, but for me, going to these festivals and seeing all the talent that's out there, and then being included in things like we're a finalist for the emerging act, which is incredible, because these are the people that we're looking around us going, oh my god, these guys are so cool, and we're getting to see them play live, and then we're included in, you know, the awards ceremony with them, which is insane.
When we supported Catfish, we got on stage with them at the end of their set to do a big collaboration thing. We had a big jam.
Yeah, I
with
love
Catfish.
that.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun, and we're making new friends all the time. Like, we love the Catfish guys. It's just so awesome guys, and
Yeah.
you know, we wouldn't meet these people otherwise. So we're so thankful for that. And
Music's awesome.
music's just such a cool. It's just such a cool scene. And like you say, individual projects and different scenes and different genres of music. But this one,
Something about this
blues, rock, soul kind of genre is so friendly and so supportive, and it just feels good. Like, wherever we go, it just feels like there's so much love there, and everyone's in the same boat and everyone's loving it. So it's great.
That's the thing, I think, isn't it? You know, you're enjoying the journey, aren't you? You put together a great album. You know, the five of you work incredibly well together. You're friends, and you're enjoying the journey. You know, no matter where it leads you. You know, be it Red Rocks, you know, be it Wembley Stadium, be it the O2, be it, you know, wherever. You know, it's the people you meet along the way. And you know, the album, you know, the lyrics and everything, the music is going to make people dance, it's going to make people sing, it's going to make people cry, and it's going to touch hearts and lives. I think, you know, that's the thing with music, isn't it? And you know, you've got such a great start to your career, and they say long may it continue.
Thank you for speaking with us, and it's things like this that make us feel very special, so thank you.
Bless you. Well, thank you for talking, and hopefully see you guys on the road soon. Okay. Take care.
Cheers.